What is up, everybody? Welcome into episode 4 of the Brahma Bullpen. Me and your boy Haas here. Gonna be a great episode. We got game preview. We got tailgate preview. We got some smack talk. We're gonna talk to another podcast group. Also, while I'm podcasting, I will be drafting my XFL fantasy football team. So if you see me looking away or pausing for a little bit, that's because I'm drafting a player. I will be drafting my boy Joaquin Patrick from the Brahmas, number 1, when my pick comes up. So watch for that. We're going to talk about Haas's picks for the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about pregame. We're going to talk about tailgate information for the Brahmas down here in San Antonio. We're going to compare the Brahmas roster versus the Battle Chickens roster. This whole episode, we're calling them Battle Chickens, not Battle Hawks. Okay, Haas? There's no such thing as a Battle Hawk while we're doing this episode. Maybe next episode we'll call them the Hogs, but when they're playing the Brahmas, they're chickens, okay?
That's right.
We're going to talk a little bit about Shea Sports Network, but before we get too far, my boy Haas has to pay up for a bet. Go to the YouTube channel for last week's episode 3. Fast forward to the part where we make a bet on prediction for starting quarterback. My boy Haas messed up bad and picked the wrong quarterback. If you want to know who picked the right quarterback, there's a YouTube short on that also. Check that out. But right now, we're not even going to talk anymore. Haas, time to pay up with a jalapeno bet. And those that watch the episode, RC Woods is going to pay up on a jalapeno bet at the tailgate this Sunday. We're going to do a YouTube short on that. We're going to make her do that jalapeno pay up for her part of the bet because we all know Jack Cohen is a starting QB for your San Antonio Brahmas. Let's go, Haas. That's a raw jalapeno, no cook, no prep, right?
No cook, no prep. Here we go. I hate this, by the way.
Do it. I don't care.
I'm not talking to you.
Oh, that's a good bite. Is it spicy or did you get a weak one? Get that man a glass of water. Glass of milk. You all right, Haas? I'm a draft right quick. Give me 1 second. I'll be right with you. Enjoy that jalapeno. I'm gonna be right here. Hold on. Let's see. Running backs for the Brahma. I'm drafting Patrick. Let's go.
I hope everyone watching the podcast appreciates this.
Got him. Okay, I got him. I got Joaquin Patrick for my team. I talked to him at the fan event. He told me he's going to ball out for my fantasy team this year for XFL. I know players don't really care about that, but he was very nice to appease me and my fandom. You all good, Haas? You ready to get going? Huh? Why is your hand shaking, dog? What's going on with that?
I hate spicy food. Everyone watching, I've never eaten a jalapeno before. And there's a reason.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm just glad that's over.
Well, it's not all over. Are you? So let's talk tailgate right now. Then we'll come back to Super Bowl follow-up, unless you're ready.
I'm ready.
You ready? Okay, Haas, tell us what happened. You remember last week's episode? We had some player bets to watch on the Super Bowl. How did it go, man?
Travis Kelce to get a touchdown. Obviously, our boy got one. We had McKinnon. I said to go under on everything. He had his under on his carrying attempts, on his receiving yards, and I believe his receptions, I think it was 3.5. He finished with 3 receptions. But he did go over on his rushing yards at 34. But he only had 4 carry attempts. You know, that's not a lot. So that's averaging 8.5 yards a carry. But really, it was only 2 of those rushes that were good. And one of them, he was lined up at the fullback position and just broke right out, got like 15 yards, whatever it was. So kudos to him on the number 1 defense in the league. Jalen Hurts, we had the under on his rushing yards. I was really hoping, and I even said this last time, that Andy Reid was going to play a spy more. And the other good thing about, going under on quarterbacks is that if they get sacked, those yards come off of their rushing. So it says he finished with 70 yards, which I believe is the most rushing yards by a quarterback in the Super Bowl. So he went over. So I would say we went 2 for 3.
2 for 3. Okay. Well, that's still respectable. What about your boy? What about your boy Mahomes? How did he do?
That boy Mahomes got that dog in him. We even got a live X-ray
Oh
of his
yeah,
ankle. Yeah, of his ankle post
you
game.
got the hookup.
Yeah, let's look at it. It's right here. You see
Nice.
the little foe?
Yeah,
He got that
yeah.
dog
He's
in
got
him.
it. He's got it in him.
Well deserved. Well deserved. 3 touchdowns on 182 yards. Obviously, he was hurting some in that first half, but no doubt they gave him something at halftime whenever he got tackled. He finished with 6 carries and 44 yards on a
And
bad ankle.
on one foot. Yeah, man. On one foot, no doubt, dude. He earned it. You know, the Philly defense, great defense, number one defense in the league, but KC offense was 3 points better. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
All
I
right.
believe the bullpen had even picked the KC to win.
There's a YouTube short, pick KC to win. We were doing a practice tailgate is what we were doing for the real game this Sunday in the Alamodome, February 19th at 2 p.m. We use the Super Bowl as a warm-up because that's what we do here in the Brahma Bullpen. XFL, baby, let's get it. Let's get back to some XFL talk. Speaking of tailgate, man, we did get tailgate spots out this week. If you have not got yours already, they are sold out. The San Antonio Brahmas have really been taking care of their season ticket holders. I'm going to throw that out there now. They did a season ticket holder event. They've done season ticket holder packages where you can get about $175 worth of Brahma gear, hat, t-shirt, koozie, a bag for like $75, like half price. Then with the tailgating spots, they offer those up to season ticket holders first. Limit. So basically what they did is going to be first come, first serve. You can buy a parking spot for $25, max 2. So the Brahma Bullpen, we bought 2. So we'll have 2 parking spots for our tailgate. So, and then actually we got 3 to be perfectly honest with you. So we'll have 2 spots for tailgate and a spot for parking. A friend of mine bought another spot. We're going to try to get next to each other, but it's first come, first serve, $25 a spot. It is sold out. There is no more tailgating in lots B and C at the Dome, and they don't have any other room to tailgate. So if you didn't get your spot, sorry about that. This weekend at the tailgate, we're doing some fun things. RC talked about the food drive. We're doing a guacamole competition. There may or may not be a Brahma Bullpen member. Oh, hold on. I got a draft. Hold on. Drafting. I'm drafting Martavius Bryant from the Vipers. I don't think you have to necessarily edit that out. Everybody knows what it's like getting in a fantasy league. I don't get to pick the draft. Someone else picked it, and it's the same night we're broadcasting. So far, I got Patrick and Bryant from the Vipers. Patrick from the Brahmas, Bryant from the Vipers.
That's great. That's great.
That jalapeno's still getting you, Haas. So going on with our tailgate, we're doing the guacamole cook-off. We're going to have some competitors from representing the bullpen. We're going to have some judges down there. We're doing the food drive with RC. We got swag. We got flags. We got banners. If you're walking around, look for a black tent with a banner that says the Brahma Bullpen on there. It just says Brahma Bullpen. We'll have flag, barbecue pit. We're going to have a TV up. XFL is going to have a pregame show on, plus the morning game will be playing. So we're going to have the morning game on. We're going to be down there starting around 8:30 or 9. Be able to watch the first game out in the parking lot, having some cold Brahma beer. If you watch some of our YouTube shorts, we got a sneak peek of that beer also. I'm going to take a little credit. I'm going to tell the world right now. They were not going to release that beer last Thursday night at the fan event, but I begged the owner and manager. Producer can verify this if he needs to talk for the first time, but I begged the owner and the manager to bring out some of that beer, and he did, and we got to buy it and drink it. So it was amazing. So last thing, we'll talk about the tailgate. We will be cooking Battlehawk chicken.
Come on.
Recipes there. May put some guacamole on it. It's San Antonio, folks. It's San Antonio. Chicken, tortilla, guacamole, some sausage, some chips and queso. Let's get it, dude. And cold beer.
Come on.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Oh, man, I'm already on the clock again for my draft. Hold on, folks. Definitely taking another wideout with my third pick, dude. I'm not ready to take a quarterback yet. One of these guys in my league took a quarterback already. So
is the scoring system the same as?
Dude, I'm taking. What do you think about Bird? BJ Bird.
I'm not telling you what to do.
Josh Gordon.
The Flash.
He's not let me do my thing. All right, I got Josh Gordon, bro. I'm back on the clock again. Also, all my team, everybody I'm drafting to give must be auto drafting, folks. So I'm not real sure what's going on with that, but here we go. I got Josh Gordon. uh, on my squad, and I got Martellus admin there with the Battle Hawk. So I've drafted my first Battle Chicken. Let's go. All right, put that back down. Let's go ahead and get started. Done talking tailgate. We're going to do roster composite. Producer, pop up the roster composite slide. Pop it up here. So real quick, man. The Brahmas going this season. We don't have depth charts yet, but they're going into the games, starting game one with 10 defensive backs at safety and cornerbacks, 8 D linemen, 6 linebackers, 8 O linemen, 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 4 tight ends. It's interesting that they're taking a 4th tight end. Most teams are taking 3. Tells me tight ends are going to be part of this offense. Even in goal line sets, we're going to run the ball down their throat in the goal line. That's my prediction. 6 wide receivers, 3 specialists, long snapper, punter, and kicker. So a total of 51 rosters. We're going to run a 4-3 or a 4-2-5 type of defense based upon scenario and based upon the team we're playing. So that's why we got those 6 linebackers in the 2 deep there. They got a couple of extra DBs in there for when we run nickel, run that 4-2-5. When we're playing teams like Houston and probably Vegas, they're going to throw the ball all over the place. That extra defensive back in there is going to be great. Going to help us, cover that. One of the things I like, we should have talked about this sooner before game preview, but Joey Porter is our linebackers coach. You know who Joey Porter is, Hoss? He's what you call a mofo. Okay. Played for the Steelers, won a championship on those teams with Hines Ward when they were basically unbeatable and they were mean. This dude got shot, bro. It didn't even phase him. He was still playing. If I got shot just one time, I'm retiring from every job that I have. Okay. Joey Porter got shot. He was back on the field playing linebacker in the NFL at the highest of levels, getting sacks and making opposing quarterbacks and running backs scared. It's amazing. I'm going to go ahead and draft here. Give me 1 second, folks. Big Hoss, if you want to say anything, do your thing.
We can talk about some stats. He played in.
I'm drafting Douchey as my QB, bro.
Talking about Joey Porter in his Super Bowl season, which was 2005, where he had 16 games, 57 tackles, and 10.5 sacks and 4 fumbles, 2 interceptions. Really glad he's our coach, huh?
Dude, if a linebacker wants to learn how to get in the league, let me tell you, Joe Porter is going to be like, take a bullet and get back in there. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, moving on. So if you look at the graph we have up, the average stars, okay, so we're using star ratings out of college. There's not a lot of data on these players yet, but we're using everything that we can. We're using 24/7 sports rankings here. Players coming out of high school, going into college, there's not much to go off of on these guys. So we're kind of using their composite and their star system. So I went through, found every player on these 2 teams, went through the active rosters, went through 24/7 sports, looked them all up, added their stars, added their player composite, kind of did some tweaking on our own based upon if they had XFL data or NFL data. Maybe we raised the score up a little bit, maybe we dropped a little bit, but most of this based upon their composite, player size, speed. They factor in things like wingspan, length, all those analytics, and we kind of tweaked their scores, got our scores, and came up here. So as you can see, the average star rating for the Brahmas is a 3.22. The average player score is a 0.86. If you look down at the Battle Chickens, their average stars are 3.07. Their average composite is a 0.84. Both of those things are lower. Both of those numbers are lower. So if you're looking at just the scores, hey, we already won the game. We hadn't even played it yet. But what do you think about that, Hoss?
Well, I think that's a lot easier said than done.
Going down into the Battle Chickens, we're going to kind of look at their rosters. They're going in. They did a little bit different on their roster. They broke down the defensive backs separately. So they got safeties and excuse me, it's my turn to draft. Hold on, man. What am I taking here? Do I want to take another Battlehawks player? I don't know. What do you think, Hoss?
Out of respect for this week's matchup, I think 1 is enough so far.
1 is enough. So I'm going to jump down to – I'm going to go Rod Smith with the Vipers, bro. Let's see. Let's do that. You know what? Hold on. Let me see who's this. Who's the starting running back? We got depth charts out for the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Brian Hill.
Brian Hill.
Brian Hill. Take Brian Hill.
Brian Hill's gone, man. Someone done grabbed him. Oh, you know what, dude? I'm going to draft Keith Ford from the Renegades. I'm taking Keith Ford from the Renegades. My boy Keith is a Texas A&M graduate, and he's going to run circles around the folks up there. So we're gonna throw that out there. All right, no more draft talk. You know what I did for the fans and for my sanity and for my own head? I set it on auto draft, so it'll be what it'll be. But I got my first 6 picks in. So if you can't build your team in the first 6 picks, you're going to lose anyways, right? Just saying. All right, going down back to the Battle Chickens roster. 5 defensive backs, 4 safeties. They got 7 D linemen, 7 linebacker, 9 O linemen. They got 3 QBs, 3 running backs, 3 tight ends, and 7 wide receivers with the 3 specialists. That builds their 51 man roster. You know, they just picked up their 3rd QB this week. There's no way that QB is going to have the playbook, but I guess it doesn't matter. You know, they're pretty much set with A.J. McCarron as their starter there. So they did release an old lineman to pick up that 3rd QB. It's probably a good move, you know, with injuries and quarterbacks being picked up like that. I think with the Battlehawks, you're going to expect to see a lot of 3 wide receiver formations. It might be the best wide receiving group in the league. Who knows? Number 3, Ant-Man, who I drafted, by the way, has a lot of good NFL experience, played with the Raiders. Number 11, Shepard, had a decent season with the USFL. Last year, he's one of those players that jumped ship from the USFL, came to the XFL. And A.J. McCarron can throw the ball. He's in offense. He's ready to roll. That passing attack's going to be deadly. Their D-line, you know, they're young. They might be able to compensate for a young D-line with some of their linebackers. They do have some decent backers. The Battle Chickens had a lot of turnover in their DB room. I mean, when they got their first roster, there were 16 players. They drafted 16 defensive backs, and they worked that down now to the 10. So does that mean that the 10 are that good, or does that mean the 16 that they had to draft 16 just to find some that were usable? We'll have to find out. I think that their defense might be susceptible to the pass. We'll see, but they're definitely looking for some solidarity there for game 1. With a young D-line, a susceptible, you know, secondary, who knows what's going to happen. Not very much experience, so I don't think it's going to bode well for them against the Brahmas here. We do have the depth chart. Hopefully producers popping that up here so you guys can see that, or popped it up earlier while we're talking about this. Now we're going to go ahead and do a little bit, not a real deep dive, but a little bit of dive into the different rosters. Hoss, what do you got on these 2 different rosters here? Focus on the Brahmas and then give me some Battlehawk info. What you got? What do you see?
Well, I'm glad that we were able to figure out who the QB was, even though it meant my burning sensation of the mouth. Jack Cohen. We know what we're getting from him. He's a very tough quarterback, which goes very well with the people of Texas. We're going to throw up a YouTube video of Jack Cohen, of the toughness that he has as a player, as a competitor, as an athlete. He actually right here dislocates his finger, goes out to the sideline, gets it popped back into place, goes back into the game, and throws the game-winning touchdown. Now, that doesn't tell you how tough this young man is.
With a swole finger. With a swole finger.
Swole finger. So, obviously, we can be confident and happy that that's our quarterback. Reminds you of the late Kobe Bryant. Dislocates finger, goes right back in the game. R.I.P. You mentioned already Jacquez Patrick. Him and I believe Davion Smith were
San Antonio Brahma Bullpen #1 draft pick. Patrick, let's go.
I believe in the 2020 season of the XFL, him and Davion Smith were kind of in the lead to be leading the XFL and rushing. Him and Jacquez Patrick and Davion Smith. I think Smith was #1 and Patrick was number 3 or 4. But in one game, Patrick rushed for 21 attempts, 108 yards, and a touchdown. He wasn't even targeted in the passing game, and the win over the Defenders, a 25-0 win. And he obviously was a pretty good.
That's a big game, Hoss. If I remember right, I believe his dad had just passed away that week. and he went out there and just performed, man. So kudos to him. Kudos to his family that supported him to get through that, because there's no, you don't do that kind of thing on your own. So
Yeah, that
kudos
takes
to
a
him.
mental toughness to the game that no one can really prepare you for. That just comes out in you. So getting another really good competitor in him. One of our wide receivers, TJ Vasher, another Texas boy, birthplace in Wichita Falls. Went to Texas Tech. His best season was his 2018 season with 54 catches, 687 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He played the other next 2 seasons, had decent seasons as well. That's what I got for our Brahmas. What we can start talking about is the battle chickens. Basically,
What you got? What
McCarron,
are those
right?
chicken pluckers got going on, man?
Basically, AJ McCarron, right? If you don't know AJ McCarron is, and you haven't been, watching football over the last decade, basically. There's Nick Saban, then there's AJ McCarron for Alabama. The first quarterback in BCS history to win 2 natties back to back. I mean, and his stats for them were consistent, of course. His last year throwing over 3,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. 2012 season, which was his junior, he had 30 touchdowns and 2,900 yards. And the year before that, 2,600 yards. A consistent, good, poised quarterback. The 2012 season may ring a nice little bell for us, as that's when Manziel took it to them in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and won that upset game over there.
Big game.
Big game. They still made it back and were able to go to the national championship and win it that year, though. But AJ McCarron, very composed quarterback. Now we're going to talk about their...
I seem to remember Ryan Swope making a big catch after Johnny did some magic.
After he had some Johnny magic running into his lineman, fumbling it back. Only one person could do that, and it's Johnny Manziel. Wait, do you have something of Johnny Manziel back there?
We talked about it before. There might be a Heisman right there.
Might be a Heisman, maybe a game-worn cleat.
Maybe a game-worn cleat in a jersey or something back there. We'll talk about that.
Rumor has it that game-worn cleat is the one from the Alabama game. That's why it's white down there. You can't really see it past Bullpen's elbow, but we won't confirm nor deny those allegations.
I have smelled that cleat. Nothing weird. No homo, though.
and he liked it. Now let's talk about their running back, Brian Hill, a very impressive running back that they got. He played actually with Josh Allen in Wyoming. His last season there in 2016, 349 attempts, 1,860 rushing yards, and 22 touchdowns. You talk about
put some respect on his name.
Yeah, and coming into the draft the next year, Josh Allen even had some high praise for his buddy Brian Hill. He said he's a fierce competitor, not afraid of contact. He's going to lay the boom a few times a game. I was always terrible carrying out my fakes because I handed the ball off and I just stopped so I could watch him run over people. He's a very fun runner to watch. He's a smart kid. And at this time, the Bengals, or believe, were the ones who drafted him. He said he's going to adapt to the Bengals offense, and hopefully he gets a lot of touches there next year. And so,
Brian, that's some high praise when one pro tells another pro that I stopped doing what I'm doing so I can watch you do what you do.
Yeah, and obviously Josh Allen was no rollover either.
Yeah.
So high praise. We know he's good. He's got a lot of NFL experience as well. And then talk about one of your boys that you just drafted, Marcel Aitken. 4 seasons for the Okie Cowboys.
San Antonio Brahma Bullpen's own.
The Marcel Aitken.
Yes, sir.
His last season in 2017 was able to acquire 1,000-yard receiving season. He had 59 catches, 1,156 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Very solid senior season for him. Very excited for this team to play the Brahmas because obviously a lot of people believe that the Battlehawks are the best team in the XFL, and we're going to be able to see how that really transitions in the Alamodome and our home turf.
And I think that goes right into our next subject. Producer, if you could pop up, if you could do me a favor and pop up this little deal right here, the XFL preseason power rankings from this. I don't want to shady sports network. I mean, I'm gonna have a talk with these boys and educate them, right? Because if you look at these rankings right here, you got some guy named Travis, got the Battle Chickens ranked number one. Another guy named Bryish got the Battle Chickens ranked number one, and I'm okay with that. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but what I'm not okay is to see the Brahmas ranked at 5, 7, 7, and 6. Okay, we're going to have the best O line in the league. If these guys haven't done a deep dive on the O line, that's their fault. We're gonna have the best O line league. We got some of the best running backs in the league. Okay, Patrick is gonna run holes around their D line. I don't see them being that low. I think if I was really gonna rank them a power ranking, they would be 3, maybe 2, depending on how Jack Cohen plays in the first couple of games. And if we get good quarterback play and our wide receivers can get open, it'll get up there.
Let me ask you this, before you move on. With Cohen winning,
you see these rankings? It's ridiculous.
I don't know what to really think about that, but that's okay with me because I'm totally fine being an underdog coming out and slamming teams. So that's what I hope for. So that's fine with me. But my question was for the quarterback position. Do you think it's impossible that we run basically, we have a starting quarterback, right? We have Jack Cohen, but do you think it's possible that they run Sinnott with 30% snap burn type of game?
I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, and here's what I say no. I think that you're going to go in there and Jack Cohen's going to be your man until he proves to you he's not your man. And then you're going to look at Sinnott or Jawan Pass to kind of step up in there. But I think Hines Ward is as old school of a football player as they get. And old school football players do not believe in the 2 quarterback systems. They want their guy that's going to carry the load, that's going to touch the ball on every offensive snap, and they want that guy to be a leader. He'll be a team captain, and that's who they're gonna roll with.
So it had to be some pretty significant mess ups consistently.
Yeah, I think for sure the first 2 games it'll be Jack Cohen. If he wins those, great. That's what we want. Obviously, as fans, we want dubs. We want to see the team succeed. But also, it's a learning phase. We're learning our team, learning the rosters. The coaches are doing the same thing. But yeah, I think for sure it's Jack Cohen's job to lose at this point. I don't think they're going to do that flopping around back there. And I think we're going to do a pro style pocket pass offense. Cohen doesn't run a whole lot. He does have some legs, but he's not known as a dual threat like Jawan Pass is probably. So I do think we're going to have that pro style offense. I think we're going to run the ball. We're going to play action to the tight end, and we're going to use the run to set up the pass.
I mean, we know he can throw the ball. I mean, his last season Notre Dame, he had over 3,000 passing yards. So yeah.
So I mean, that's it. So with that being said, Shady Sports Network, hit me up if you want to talk about these rankings. We'll fix them for you, bro. We'll help y'all out. We'll educate you guys up there. But you ready? You ready for game predictions, Hoss? You ready to see what's up? Okay, I'm gonna get the notes out. Here's my official predictions, and I've been pretty good. I picked the KC win in the Super Bowl. I picked the starting quarterback. I think I've picked the starting running back pretty well. So I mean, I'm doing pretty good.
You're feeling yourself a little bit.
I'm doing some research. Maybe I need to be humbled. But hopefully the Brahmas do not humble me this week. I think the Brahmas offense is going to, let's just say, is the word dominant? I don't want to say dominant, but I definitely want to say that the Brahma offense is going to beat the Battle Chicken defense. Okay, I'm thinking the Brahmas are going to rush for 125 plus. The Chicken D line is going to give up chunk run plays, and there might even maybe the D line sees this and they come with it. I don't know, but I'm just comparing our O-line to their D-line. Our O-line's better, and we got great running backs.
Sure.
I think the Brahmas defensive backs are going to have their hands full with the running back, so I think a key number is going to be like 225, 250, trying to hold their passing attack, A.J. McCarron and those good wideouts to that. I don't know. My tongue went numb like that. Did I eat the jalapeno?
Did you have a jalapeno or not?
No jalapeno for me. Well, I'm thinking if we can hold them 225 to 250 area in passing, that bodes well for us. We're probably going to win if they do that. I think Jack Cohen's going to come in. I think he's going to pass for around that 175, 200 yards. I think we're also going to rush for 175, 200 yards. I think we're going to walk away with 350 plus. And I think the game is going to end. Score prediction, jot it down. Brahmas 27, Battle Chickens 20. We're going to take the Brahmas for the win. What do you think about that, Haas?
I like what you said. I like what you're thinking. I think Cohen's probably going to pass for a little more. We'll probably have a little less rushing yards. But who knows? Depending on how the defense goes, I mean, we may have more on both ends or a little less on both ends. We don't know for sure.
Well, for sure. So with that being said, I do not think Patrick's going to take all of the runs. I do think that we'll probably see some Kellen Ballage in there. I think it's going to be like either 60-40 or 70-30 split. He's going to definitely get some touches. And I think Hillman's going to get, I think Hillman will get, 4 or 5 carries as well. I think this game, you're going to see all 3 running backs in the game, maybe 2 running backs at a time. And the other thing I'm going to throw out there is Elise Mack, tight end out of Notre Dame. I think he's going to be one of the premier tight ends in the league when this is done. So you can write that down. I think he's gonna ball out. We don't have depth charts yet, so I risk looking like an idiot with everything I just said. But based upon what I've seen and heard and some of the research I've done, I think that's what we're going to look at. Those are the key players that are going to carry us to this 27-20 victory over the Chickens.
It's interesting you brought up Elise Mack because I think the same thing as far as the tight end situation. We know what we're going to get out of our running backs, our quarterbacks. And another statement to be made about Jack Cohen is he must have been balling out in practice. Let's give this man props for continuing working on his craft because, Senate does have a lot of more NFL experience. He didn't just, take the quarterback position. It wasn't given to him. Yeah. He earned that. And obviously Hines Ward and our coaching staff reward him that job for a reason. But Elise Mack coming out of Notre Dame too, maybe a fellow Irishman, even though they weren't there at the same time, he does look like a pretty good target. His last season, 2018, he had 36 catches and 360 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not great, but obviously he can catch the ball and help spread the offense a little bit. So that's going to be, I do think he is an X factor in a lot of the games. Our tight end position in general, I believe, is the X factor in a lot of our offense in the games.
All right, so we got a little bit of time. Producer, pop up the roster so you can see. I got Ben Ducey as my starting quarterback. That's a solid pick. I got Marquise Patrick as my starting running back.
Danucci.
Is it Danucci?
Don't call him Douche.
It's Nucci, dude. It's Nucci.
Have some respect for your quarterback.
Hey, man. Hey, he better give me some touchdowns and then anyway. All right. Wide receiver, Martarius Bennett. And then I got Marcel Atman. And then I'm rocking Josh Gordon. And then I got the Brahmas on these. Yeah. Well, we'll see if he's not still doing the we'll see. But I got Elise Mack as my starting tight end. Then down here on my bench, I got Keith Ford, my boy, Travis Johnson, and TJ Fasher also with the Brahmas. So I got some Brahma players scouted in there. I feel like I did a solid draft, man. I think I'm going to be good. Keep an eye on the waiver wire. We'll talk a little fantasy football every week. I'll let you guys know how I did. We're in a 6-team league. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 starting players for each roster. Points are spread out pretty typical fantasy league points where you get 6 points for a touchdown. Receivers get 1 point for every 25 yards. Running backs for 1 point for every 10 yards. So we'll see how that goes. We'll dig into the scoring here at the News Hub Fantasy and see how that goes. With that, next week we're gonna have sights and sounds from the tailgate being posted on our SEC channel. I've been saying that stupid SEC channel because I'm SEC all the time.
Well, we wish. The SEC channel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We're going to have on the YouTube channel, we're going to have some tailgate stuff posted on there. So you'll get to see sights and sounds from the tailgate. We'll get some video from inside the game. We're going to have game recap next week when we come back. We're either going to be eating chicken or talking more trash about chicken. Then we're going to do week 2 preview. We'll be playing the Orlando Guardians. Not giving out my prediction just yet, but I think that's going to be a guaranteed dub, and then we'll update everybody on fantasy team. Other than that, you got anything, Haas?
No, sir.
How's your mouth doing? You good?
Still burns a little bit.
Still stung. And don't forget, watch for our YouTube shorts because RC Woods is going to have to pay up on her jalapeno bet at the tailgate this weekend. Guacamole cook-off, food drive, tailgate, Brahma football, Brahma beer. What else could there be? Let's go, San Antonio. Let's go, Brahmas. Horns forward, baby.